Hey, how are you? Good to see you. I want to start this video by telling you a little bit about what I've just been through because it does have a significant biblical application. A couple of weeks ago, I took a tumble. I guess I could chalk it up as my first old guy fall, but actually I was walking out the steps into the sunroom out back, and I misstepped, and when I tried to plant my left foot, I forgot that I had left the weed eater on that second step, and so I stepped down onto, not the weed eater, the leaf blower, and I stepped down onto the leaf blower, the cylindrical tube, and so that kind of launched me backwards, where I fell into a pile of paint cans and dented one severely with the side of my body as I rolled end over those cans and came to rest in a pile of boxes. It was almost like a slow motion thing. I just kept falling. I couldn't stop. But the good news is that I immediately got up on my hands and knees and realized I hadn't hit my head. Nothing was broken. I'm significantly bruised. And I did twist my ankle on the way down. There's a lot of bruising and stuff going on down there. But the good news is we are fearfully and wonderfully made, and I survived it intact. And in fact, was able to get up and go right back to doing my work despite the fact that my body ached. So then fast forward maybe 2 weeks and I came down with an upper respiratory flu. I mean, sick, my goodness. I'm very grateful that Micah was able to stand in for me at GCA yesterday because you can hear I'm very congested still. But fever of 102.4 for a while, and all the body aches and chills and shakes, all that stuff. So sick. That got me thinking about biblical healing, because certainly when I was feeling so terrible, actually in both of those circumstances, I was grateful to God, but also asking God to heal me, to raise me up again. And now, here I am. I'm on the healing path. So is what I'm going through right now, as I am becoming healthier, as I am becoming less congested, the fevers are gone, I'm getting more energy day by day, can that be considered divine healing? Or is it only divine healing if it happens instantaneously? Because it's been a few weeks and I still have the bumps and bruises. My ankle still hurts, but it's all getting better. Now, I do have a tendency to thank God in everything, under all circumstances, but I'm also very grateful for his preservation of me through those circumstances, especially given the number of years and miles that I have on this body, and yet here I stand. So, from a biblical standpoint, I started thinking about Paul on the island of Malta. If you don't know the story, it's in Acts 28. Paul was being taken to Rome, and he was a prisoner of Rome at that point. And they shipwrecked and washed ashore on an island called Malta. And the people there, he says, were extraordinarily kind and built a fire. But then in that fire, Paul apparently, in arranging the sticks or something, a snake came out and latched onto his hand. The locals knew it as a venomous snake because they expected his hand to swell and for him to fall down dead. None of which actually happened. He shook the snake off into the fire, and then the people started regarding him as a god because he was able to just shake off death that way. Well, picking up in verse 7, we read, "Now in the neighborhood of that place were lands belonging to the leading man of the island, whose name is Publius, who welcomed us and entertained us courteously for 3 days. And it happened that the father of Publius was lying in a bed, afflicted with recurrent fever and dysentery. And Paul went in to see him, and after he had prayed, he laid his hands on him, and he healed him. Okay, instantaneous, miraculous healing right then and there. News spread about the fact that Paul had done that. So in verse 9, we read, "And after this had happened, the rest of the people on the island who had diseases were coming to him and getting cured. And they also honored us with many marks of respect. And when we were setting sail, they supplied us with everything that we needed." Okay, so Paul on the Isle of Malta, in order to advance the cause of Christ, did miraculous healings. So does that make Paul a healer? Does he have the ability then to heal whenever he wants, wherever he wants? Is this a gift, an ability that is given to him? Well, when we turn over to the book of Philippians, he writes this very interesting, curious thing. I am in Philippians 2, and I'm going to start reading in verse 25, but I thought it necessary to send you Epaphroditus, my brother and fellow worker and fellow soldier, who is also your messenger and minister to my need, because he was longing for you all and was distressed because you had heard that he was sick. For indeed he was sick to the point of death. Why didn't Paul just heal him? If Epaphroditus was there with him, had come from Philippi, bringing the Philippian offering to Paul to see to Paul's needs, and then fell sick to the point of death, why didn't Paul just miraculously heal him? That seems like the right thing, the Christian thing to do, and yet Paul didn't. Why? Obviously because he couldn't. He loved Epaphroditus. Epaphroditus was his fellow worker who also came to see to Paul's needs, and the reason that he did not heal him right then and there was because he just didn't have the ability. That kind of miraculous healing that the apostles are slated to have done in the New Testament was not a permanent gift that was given to them. Instead, it was something that was appropriate for the moment for the advancement of the gospel of Christ, but it was not just a permanent gift that they had as some kind of healer, like far too many people claim to be today. But why was Epaphroditus healed? He was at the point of death, but then he was raised up. Listen to what Paul says. For indeed he was sick to the point of death, but God had mercy on him, and not only on him, but also on me, so that I would not have sorrow upon sorrow. So whether it was miraculous healing on Malta, Paul gave God, Christ, all the credit. Whether it was slower, long-term, what we would consider natural healing, the kind of healing that is a result of time and biology, that kind of healing is also a gift from God. He is the one who made us this way so that we would heal through the process of time. So even though I cannot claim that I was miraculously lifted from my deathbed, and a few nights ago when I had the 102.4 fever, it was kind of a delirious night where I would have happily taken miraculous healing. But that didn't happen. I had to endure it. I had to wait for the fever to break. It's a few days later. I'm still cloggy and congested, but I'm getting better. And I give God all the credit for that, because he is the healer in all circumstances. I have argued for so many years that for the Christian, it's really a win-win situation. If you get really sick and die, you get healed. You're healed eternally. Life gets much better. If you're sick and you recover, that's God's goodness to you, his kindness to you in causing you to be healed. And he is the one who made you capable of what we consider natural healing. So I'm up, I'm at it yet again, and I am so very grateful to my God who has raised me up yet again. So I just wanted to get on here and say, praise God. Thank God for his faithfulness. And I am a living testimony to the goodness and the preservation of God. I'm like a weeble. They knock me down and then I get back up. So, all right. Thanks for listening. Talk to you again soon. Bye.